Hey again, welcome to another episode of Frequently Asked Scottish Golf Questions. We're starting the episode like we will every episode with a dram of whiskey. Today is not Scottish whiskey. We're going to annoy some of the purists and ask some blackberry whiskey from the Isle of Wight in southern England. So something a little different today, had to switch it up. The topic today is about the best time of year to visit Scotland for golf. It's something I get asked a lot, and in my trip consulting that I do for readers on the site, I get asked, hey, I'm thinking of going in September, is that too late? Or hey, I'm thinking of going in March, is that too early? So we're going to break all that down today. So let's jump right in. I'm going to break this down by looking at the pros and cons of going at different times of year. I'm going to refer to the shoulder seasons, and when I refer to the shoulder seasons, I'm talking about kind of September and October, and then March and April. Sometimes different courses define shoulder seasons differently, so check on each website. But basically, during those shoulder seasons, you'll have better rates. They can be up to 30% off, 40, 50% off. But that also comes with some possible negatives. Some courses play off mats, like the St. Andrews Links. It's a small piece of artificial turf that you place in the fairway, and that keeps you from putting divots through the winter. That ends in the shoulder season, but if you were in the very early bits of it, you could, end up playing off mats. For some people, that's a big negative. An actual big negative that is a big pet peeve of mine would be to go visit a course and have them be winter green still. So some courses make small kind of green areas in the fairway short of the greens in the winter so that the greens don't get any play, and when it's frosty they don't get stepped on and damaged. So the courses should have those details on their site. If they don't, send them an email, but weigh that up. Is it worth some really serious savings if you're going to have to end up playing off mats? Only you can answer that question. But that's one negative. Another possible negative is the weather. Frost delays are just a total toss-up. Unfortunately, on the old course, frost delays mean a loss of the tee time. So if you drew, say, 8 a.m. in the ballot and there are frost delays until 10 a.m., you don't get pushed back. You just lose your tee time. So that can be really tough too. The weather in Scotland can always be iffy. In the summer, you can have terrible weather. In March, you can have great weather. I remember, I believe it was my second year at the University of St. Andrews, we didn't see a cloud in April. I know that sounds like I'm joking, but I'm serious. I don't think we saw a cloud in April. I played the old course 8 times 1 week. The weather was that good, and I'll always remember that. And I remember thinking, holy cow, nobody's here. This is great. Nobody, no tourists, nothing. So if you want to be one of those smart tourists who goes in April and happens to catch a good week and have great rates and no competition for tee times, that's a really good option. Speaking of tee times, that's one area that is another benefit. Many fewer golfers are trying to go in the shoulder seasons. So the old course ballot is easier to get into. That's a big positive. Muirfield, it's easier to get a tee time. So give that thought as well. You never have a guarantee of weather, but what you can pretty much be sure of is the shoulder seasons are going to be colder. March and April especially still hasn't quite warmed up in Scotland, so you could catch some really cold days. September, you can still have some good warm days. October, it's getting cold again. So if you're willing to layer up, throw it on, and go out there and get after it, it can be awesome to get those savings. Know that you're going to get tee times, so keep that in mind. Alongside the weather is the light. Anyone who's been to Scotland in June knows that the sun rises about 4 a.m., and then sets about 10:30 p.m. So you have these tremendously long days. The final tee times of the day throughout the summer are 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. So you can play forever. The opposite's true in the winter. In December, February, it's tough to live in St. Andrews or Scotland. The sun rises about 8:30, 9, sets about 3:30. It's dark by 3:30. and it can be rough. But in the shoulder seasons, expect just kind of typical getting dark around 5:30. 6 as the season goes on. Of course, the days get longer, but keep that in mind too. You're competing with fewer people to get tee times, but there are fewer tee times because of the light. That being said, your chances are definitely better in the shoulder seasons. To wrap everything up, we'll just recap. April, March. April is a great time to come. March is a little bit early. It's going to be pretty darn cold in March, shorter days. Huge fan of April. The summer, is amazing. It is what it is. Long days. You can get some terrible weather. You can have some great weather too. Moving to the other end of the season, you've got September. I personally don't like September, and I'll tell you why. If you want to come to St. Andrews in September, it's a really rough month. You have the RNA autumn meeting that closes the old course for about 10 days. So that's tough. And then on either on the front end or tail end of that, you have the Dunhill Links Championship, a European Tour event that shuts down the St. Andrews Old Course, Kingsbarns, and Carnoustie. That all happens kind of end of September, middle of September, and that can be really rough. To come over and think you're going to enter the ballot and then find out that the ballot's not even open. That hurts. So I'll put a link in the description below, and it'll have all the busy dates for all the St. Andrews courses. October, again, getting a little late in the season. It's kind of like March in that it's a little bit iffy, but October can be a good time to come. You get the benefit of the shoulder season. Some of the courses haven't switched over to mats or winter greens yet. A lot of that happens around November 1st. So have a look in the description. I'm going to post some links. I've written an article on this that goes into everything in a little bit more detail. Shoot me an email, graylyn@graylynloomis.com. I'll bounce some ideas around with you. Use the trip consulting services on the site if you want kind of more in-depth discussion. But I'm a huge fan of the shoulder seasons. I think they're great. I'll post some other links to past videos about caddies and old course tee times, and I'm really excited with where this is going. I hope you guys are enjoying these. I'm going to keep them coming, and please send in your questions to email or in the comments below, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks, guys. Cheers.